Let's talk about your fiber network. When you pull up your plans, what are you really looking at? Is it just a simple photo of where things are, or is it more like a detailed X-ray showing how everything is actually connected on the inside? That's the huge difference we're going to dig into today.
Seriously, think about your own network plans for a second. Are you seeing the whole picture? Every internal connection, all your available capacity? Or are you just looking at lines on a map? This one question, well, it gets right to the heart of a massive challenge for operators.
Okay, so a photo or an X-ray. To make this super clear, let's use a simple analogy. Imagine someone with some pretty bad knee pain goes to two different doctors. The way they approach the problem tells you everything you need to know about the two ways to view a network.
So the first doctor, he takes a great-looking photo. It confirms, yep, you have a knee. Great. But it tells you absolutely nothing about why it hurts. It's not actionable. Now the second doctor orders an X-ray. And boom, they can see right inside, pinpointing the exact problem. That's the whole ballgame right there. One is just a picture, the other is a real diagnosis.
All right, let's bring this back to your network. Your generic CAD or GIS plan? Well, you guessed it, that's the first doctor's photo. It looks good, it's geographically accurate for sure, but when it comes to the day-to-day grind, it has some pretty serious limitations.
And to be fair, tools like AutoCAD or ArcGIS are awesome at what they were made for. They draw nice, clean lines on a map. They'll show you that a 96 fiber cable runs down Main Street. For that high-level planning, that's totally fine. But that's where the story ends.
And this is where the trouble really starts. That line on your map is just a container. It tells you nothing about the most critical asset, the actual glass inside. So you're left asking the biggest question of all. What's actually happening inside that cable?
And that one question immediately leads to a dozen more. Like, can you see in an instant which fibers are being used by your most important customer? Or which ones are dark and ready for a new sale? With a generic plan, that info is probably buried in some outdated spreadsheet somewhere.
And it gets even more detailed. When that cable hits a splice enclosure, the photo tells you nothing. Which fibers are spliced straight through? Which ones head north to the business park and which go south? The picture just doesn't have those answers.
So this is where we switch from the photo to the X-ray. ZoneEdge is built specifically to give you that deep internal view of your network's connectivity. It shows you not just where the cable is, but what every single fiber inside of it is doing.
Let's go back to our cable on Main Street. With a generic tool, this is what you see: a label on a line. It's a fact, sure, but it's not information you can really act on, is it?
But now, take a look at the X-ray view. For the exact same cable, we suddenly have total visibility. We see fibers 1 through 12 are for customer A. We see fibers 25 through 48 are available for new business. This is actionable intelligence.
And this deep view goes right to the heart of your network, the splice enclosures. In a generic plan, it's just a little box on the map. In ZoneEdge, it's like you can digitally pop the lid open and see every tray, every splice, and trace the path of every single colored fiber from beginning to end.
So what does this all mean for your team? Let's put it into practice. Think about a super common scenario, a customer outage. This is where the difference between a photo and an X-ray becomes very, very real.
With the photo approach, a customer calls and the fire drill begins. You're digging through spreadsheets, just hoping they're up to date. You're trying to trace the path in your head, and then you send a tech out on a search mission. It's slow, it's inefficient, and it costs a ton of money. Now, let's compare that to the X-ray workflow. The customer calls, you click their address in ZoneEdge, and the system instantly traces the fiber's complete path. In less than a minute, you've pinpointed the exact cable, the exact enclosure, and can send a technician to the precise location for a fast fix.
Here's another perfect example. Your OTDR tells you there's a fault 3.7 kilometers down a fiber. Okay, but 3.7 kilometers from where exactly? With the generic map, you're back to guessing. With ZoneEdge, you plug in that number and it puts a pin on the map telling your tech the fault is right here between this pole and this manhole. Now, this level of detail isn't just about fixing problems faster, it's about preventing them in the first place. It lets you shift from being reactive, always putting out fires, to being proactive and making smart, data-driven decisions.
Your simple photo of the network just can't answer the big strategic questions. What's our real available capacity? If this specific cable is cut, who is actually affected? Can we service that new housing development? The X-ray view gives you the data to answer these questions intelligently. So instead of guessing, you get clear, visual dashboards like this.
You can see exactly where your network is getting full and where you have room to grow. This means you can manage your most valuable asset, your network capacity, proactively instead of reactively. So as we wrap things up here, it all comes down to this. What you're able to see completely changes what you're able to do. The difference between a surface view and a deep view is the difference between just guessing and actually knowing.
Let's just put it side by side. Both give you a geographic view. But a generic tool is missing every single critical layer of operational data: internal connectivity, splice status, end-to-end tracing, you name it. The X-ray view gives you the whole story, from the map right down to the individual fiber.
So here's the bottom line. A generic tool gives you a photo, and it's fine for some things. But to truly operate, troubleshoot, and plan a modern fiber network, a surface-level picture is not enough. You absolutely have to see inside. You need the X-ray. So stop guessing and start seeing. It's time to move from a simple picture to a complete, intelligent view of your network. It's time to start designing, operating, and innovating your fiber optic network today.